Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the We Know Traitors podcast over here on RHAP. I'm your host, the Duke of Deception, Pooya and Vakili, with a new day, aka a new cast member to talk about for this season's Traitors US Season 4 on our preseason journey to the premiere that starts January 8th. And I'm very excited for this one today. We are going to be talking about someone who we've talked about before. This is the first person in the history of doing the preseason previews who's getting a second profile here on a different season. Making her return is Dorinda Medley, and with us today to talk about Dorinda is the one and only, the purple pants badass himself. Joining me for, we did the Issa look together, and now we're gonna dive a little deeper here to talk about Dorinda. Brice Izyah. Brice, how you doing? My guy's muted.
I am great. Sorry, I was trying to make it nice, but I made it mute with the Duke of Deception. But I'm always excited to podcast with you. I feel like we went 5 years, no podcast. And in the last 7 months, we got 3 podcasts. So I am excited to talk about my girl, Dorinda, who is back with a vengeance. And she is not on pause. Okay. The traitor god said unpause her, and she's getting a second go round.
It's almost mean to call it a second go around because I don't even think she got it first. She was the first person murdered last season and went out immediately. And definitely when we saw her at the reunion, Brice was not happy about being out immediately.
She was like, I packed all of these bags. I had these outfits. Yeah, Dorinda was a little pissed off, and rightfully so. But also, I feel like I wish the traitor gods would treat us more like the survivor gods, because I definitely was the first person voted off of my tribe, and I ain't heard from them since. So Dorinda definitely did something right here. And again, I really do feel like from Dorinda's first iteration of the traitors, and I love Dorinda, but sis ain't know what was going on. Sis ain't know the game very clearly. And I was very critical of Dorinda and Dolores, that challenge when they were rowing the boat and they offered to get off of the boat because Dolores offered to get off. And Dorinda was like, well, if my girl's getting off, I'm like, no, Dorinda, keep your behind seated. This isn't Housewives. We're not drinking margaritas, right? And so that just told me a lot that Dorinda is playing a loyal game. And we know that because Dorinda doesn't play, but she ain't really know what was happening. And so I'm excited that the producers of the Traitors know that Dorinda is a force to be reckoned with and needs to be brought back. So I'm excited because, again, we talked about it in Issa Look. No thumbs here, hands on the hip. She's ready to play. She's got on a Burberry gold jacket. Like, Dorinda's here to play. And so I'm excited that I feel like Dorinda has done her homework now. She's made it nice. She's been at the Bluestone Manor watching all the franchises of the Traitors. Like, at this point, I'm a little nervous for Dorinda because I feel like Dorinda already comes in hot, but now I feel like she is going to be prepared and she's going to come in super hot. Rob gonna be like, hi, my name's Rob. She's gonna be like, you give me traitor, right? Like, Dorinda is gonna be like, she's gonna be on it. And it's like, girl, we don't know who's a traitor, who's a faithful yet, but I'm very excited for my girl, Dorinda Medley.
Yeah, and I think there's something to be said about when you've already been out once at that point, you're like playing on house money. So I think you were going to see I don't care, I've been murdered once before, it can happen again, whatever. So I definitely do see that energy seeping through. Now, Brice, while I have you here, you and I did talk extensively about the Issa look for these posters for this season. I want us to compare this to this. This is our last season portrait. Which one, how do you feel about this one, and which one do you prefer of the two?
Now, I do like the first portrait, right? I think this gives me like, yes, she brought a lot of clothes. She's giving very cutesy, but I don't want cutesy Dorinda. I want messy Dorinda. I want Dorinda that's ready for war. And so I do love Dorinda's first go around, the iteration, the suit, the holding your chin, holding the picture frame. Again, no thumbs, right? Because Dorinda knows and understands the assignment. But I think I like the second iteration of her Traitors look because it feels like she got something to prove. Like, Dorinda is saying in this photo, bish, You won't get me out first again. I can bet you that. Like, that's what that photo tells me. And that's the energy that I love to see. And she's wearing a turtleneck. I'm curious if Jawan from Survivor 49, if he gave her that turtleneck or Dorinda on the turtleneck. I don't know which one, but I love a good turtleneck. So Dorinda, she's ready for war. So we like this one.
So what's some lore on Dorinda that you think someone who's coming in brand new, maybe they missed the previews last season, or they're just starting with this season because of Rob, what's some lore that they would need for Dorinda to fully enjoy the experience here?
Okay. So Dorinda is from Roni, Real Housewives of New York City. She's not an original Roni member. However, she did 6 seasons on Roni. I think from like 2015 to 2020. She filmed 6 seasons. Dorinda instantly was an iconic housewife in the sense that she ain't play no games. She would make it nice. And like, I think we talked about this last time we talked. Dorinda can be a different person during the day than at night, right? Like, and Dorinda can hold herself accountable to an extent, but Dorinda doesn't play. So I think the big thing that is important to know about Dorinda is that she was married to Richard Medley. He was a hedge fund investor owner. So she comes from money. They were married. Richard was her second marriage. They were married for about 5-6 years and he died. And so he left his estate to Dorinda. Dorinda has an estate in the Berkshires, upstate New York, called the Bluestone Manor. The Bluestone Manor is Dorinda's bread and butter. She loves the Bluestone Manor. We've had several housewives trips there. According to Dorinda at BravoCon, they are in the works of filming a Bluestone Manor, kind of like Lisa Vanderpump and the Vanderpump Rules realm, where it's like Dorinda and all that it takes to run Bluestone Manor. Dorinda wants to make it nice. Dorinda is the type of, like, she is a perfectionist. However, don't cross Dorinda. Like, Dorinda is not to be played with. And the thing, again, I think I talked about this with you before, but Dorinda was supposed to do a podcast with another housewife, right? And this is kind of like the quintessential allure of Dorinda. So me and you, Pooya, we like, hey, let's do a podcast. But before we do a podcast, let's hit the road and go to city wineries to kind of promote the podcast that we got coming. You know, smart, like, just touch the people, see the people. At our very first stop, me and you, Pooya, they asked us a question and we get into a disagreement. And
oh my God.
we keep it cute. It's like, huh? Wait, what? What do you mean Rob should have showed thumbs? No, he should throw no thumbs, Pooya. We giggle it off. The next day, the 7 remaining tour dates are canceled.
Oh my God.
The podcast never happens. Okay, so Dorinda isn't to be played with. And mind you, you could go find this clip. I forget the housewife that it was supposed to be with, but like, you can watch the clip of them going back and forth. There's a switch with Dorinda where, like, Dorinda, she means well. Like, we all have that, like, aunt, that uncle, that's pretty generous, pretty nice, but they have a switch, and Dorinda has a switch. And I think sometimes the switch is good because she just makes for classic TV and she just doesn't play. And Dorinda can be accountable. So the next morning you can come to Dorinda, or Dorinda will probably come to you because Dorinda doesn't want to hold grudges, right? It's not in her heart. But if she comes to you and says, Pooya, hey, listen, I know we disagreed about the Rob thumb thing, but I'm sorry. And if you were to say to Dorinda, well, I mean, he shouldn't have had a thumb. Well, like Dorinda is, there's just something about Dorinda. She also was on the Ultimate Girls Trip, I think season 4. And it was interesting because I believe Kelly Ben-Simone was on there. And if you know Kelly Ben-Simone, with Scary Island, was an iconic Real Housewives of New York kind of didn't put it on the map, but she was there with Kelly Ben-Simone. Kelly Ben-Simone and Ramona. Oh, Ramona Singer is another housewife who is extremely problematic, but we just love her, Ramona. Dorinda tried to help a Kelly. And like, again, Dorinda's like very motherly, very like, but Kelly Ben-Simone kind of was Kelly Ben-Simone and in Dorinda trying to help her. She's like, well, what do you want me to do? And so I think Dorinda is going to be amazing on the Traitors because it's like, one, we need this type of action. I just don't know, Pooya, if I want her to be a traitor or a faithful. Like, I actually think she needs to be a faithful because I want Dorinda on the hunt.
I think that was the general idea last season when they gave her faithful. Like, I remember talking about Dorinda and just learning about her. I could tell she was going to deliver at the round table. I was told she was going to be very entertaining. She was going to be fireworks and it was going to be popcorn heavy and friendly. And I was very here for that. Then she got clipped. And I think that this is the issue. She gets clipped. She gets brought back. Brice, one of my theories is that she's going to be a traitor because they don't want her to get murdered again early. You know, like you bring her all the way back here. She's not proven to make it through like one night. Maybe you want her to be safe. Now, mind you, we could get the best of both worlds, right? Where she is a faithful and another housewife is a traitor. And that way, I think, because I have to imagine, and I want to know your thought on this, even though these housewives may not be very well connected or have some beefs between them, I think they all know one thing for certain, right? Last season, the housewives got taken out early, except for one. Everyone else got taken out super early. We might have to stick together / not let that repeat itself, which means to me, if one of them's in the turret, they're not going to let the others get murdered early.
Agreed. But we got a new breed of housewives that are on here. We've got Candace Dillard Bassard. We have Portia Williams. They don't have the best blood. And so then you throw Dorinda in the mix. And how do I say this, right? Because I love a Dorinda, right? But I think Portia and Candace will respect Dorinda as a housewife, but I'm not sure if like they gonna mix well, right? Like I'm not sure if Candace is a Dorinda Medley type of girl, nor is a Portia. And so it will be interesting to see. I'm really excited to see who Dorinda kind of leans more towards, because I definitely feel like Candace and Portia, they may be at odds a little bit, but we do have some great buffers. Monet Exchange, we've got Jam, we have Tiffany from Big Brother, we've got Lisa Rinna. Lisa Rinna and Dorinda, they're going to click up, right? And so that will be fine, but it's more Portia and Candace for me. I feel like they either going to get along with Dorinda or it's going to be housewives for themselves. And that's kind of like the vibe that I'm getting from these housewives that they have put on. They all are so different. I feel like last season, a lot of the housewives, Robin Dixon, Dolores, like I feel like they all kind of like bonded. They all were, I don't want to say they were like a similar type of housewife where they were more the relatable housewife, maybe the housewife that wasn't in so much drama, but like us as viewers, I don't care what nobody say, I love me a Robin Dixon, I love me a Dolores, right? These housewives that we have here, they are all very much main character housewives, and so it will be interesting to see if they will even work together. And so I almost don't want a housewife in the turret. Did I say it right? Because it would be mayhem.
Yeah. I mean, but here's the thing. I like mayhem. Give me mayhem. Like, I want mess, I want mess. With the Traitors, I'm always here for mess. Obviously, it's a little hard when you have a little bias in there where you have like vested interest in some people and you don't want them to leave. I'm like, I want mess unless it impacts them. Then I don't want mess. So that's one part, but I also understand what you're saying. I think that there's going to be there is some turmoil opportunity there amongst the housewives. And then that makes me interested though, to see where, if they do have a divide amongst them, where do they scatter? Because who's going to pick up these pieces? Who's going to pick up those pieces? And what does that look like? It's a little more dynamic even.
And you're right. I am super concerned for a Dorinda because the last time they brought someone back was Boston Rob, right? And
Well, Boston Rob came back in the same season. Like he was still part of that season, but then it would have been Kate Chastain who went from what was on season 1 and then came back. She came back like late season 2.
okay. So
Yeah.
what do you think in your torrid traitor history? What do you think the feel will be from the rest of the cast that gets out there and sees Dorinda back? Do you think they will automatically think like she has some type of special advantage, or
Ooh.
do you think like they will be like, you got sniped early, so they wanted to bring you back? Because that does kind of concern me a little bit with Dorinda, that I think people will automatically assume, like you just said before, like she's got to be a traitor.
Right. I think that as far as the quote unquote meta game of it goes, there's a world where some people look at it that way, and that only benefits her because they're going to cozy up to her, right? Like if Rob's going in there and he's like, oh my God, Dorinda was here last year and went out early. You know what? Let me cozy up because she could be a traitor. Let me cozy up to her so that I don't die. I think that's possible. But I think what's more likely going to happen is Dorinda's going to crack a joke and be like, I didn't even count last year. I was barely here. They're going to laugh and they're going to move on and it's going to be regular. Okay. I think it's going to be fine. Like on a scale of a Boston Rob coming back in to a Bruce coming back in from 44 to 45, they're going to look at it more like Bruce than they are like Boston Rob, is my assumption. Yeah. Yeah.
My one thing that I am concerned about Dorinda, right, is I'm not concerned for her in the round table, right? Like Dorinda can hold her own. What I am concerned about is outside of the round table. Say Rob R or Rob C, right? Say they slightly mention or a conversation to someone that, like, well, Dorinda did play last season.
Mm-hmm.
I am worried for if someone were to float the idea out that she was a traitor, Dorinda, not in the circle, not at the round table, but in that house, Dorinda is going to cause mayhem. And then I think from that mayhem that she will cause, it will then rise the speculation that she could be. And like I'm scared that she could do a disservice to herself very early on. If someone drops a little rumor, she hears about it, because one thing about Dorinda, she don't play pass it down the lane, Pooya. Okay. Dorinda come right to you. And so my
Okay.
fear is that she would be like, you saying my name? Now, why would you say my name? Like, and that just type of stir would create ripples that all of a sudden she becomes an easy target, because it's like, okay, well, girl, why you going so hard? Not knowing that it's Dorinda Medley. So that's the thing that I'm nervous for Dorinda about this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we have a big personality cast, potentially even louder than last season's cast. So she could fit right in, but it all comes down to the early goings of the game, I feel like, because if you're not one of the first 3 people to get loud, I think you're going to be okay. I think there's a little more forgiveness there. Whereas if you are loud in the beginning, you could get just banished outright because people have nothing else to go off of, and they're going to feel a type of way, and they're going to like push accusations back at each other, back and forth. Now, if you're telling me Dorinda's also confrontational in that if there are whispers, she will find out who the source is and go directly to them.
Oh, yes.
I need Dorinda to say, I'm sorry. Rob better not say anything about her, but everyone else, I want the confrontation. Hell, you know what? I changed my mind. I want to see Rob and Dorinda get into it. That would be very fun. Who says no?
I don't know if the baby boy would be ready, but I don't think that it would even be a confrontation, because I feel like, Rob don't want to smoke like that. And so it would be more someone like a Donna Kelsey, right? Like that is where yes, because again, no one is safe from Dorinda. Dorinda don't care. Young, old, a baby, a grandmom, like you're going to get the smoke. And so it will be interesting. But I do think, I'm just saying my worst case scenario with Dorinda. I do think Dorinda has done enough due diligence. I'm sure she's been on the phone with Dolores, right? Like I'm sure she has a better knack for how she is going to navigate it. And so I'm confident in that. I just am worried that when the Dorinda switch go, I just hope it's at the round table and she is eating them down and not in a place where a lot of people can see it. Things can happen, and now they're looking at Dorinda like she's crazy. But I now you have me nervous though, Pooya, because I came in here being like, I want Dorinda to be a faithful, but you're right. You have this now, it's stuck in my head that like with her returning, it's like I almost would want her to be a
Mm-hmm.
traitor.
Yeah, I think, and the world I'm building in my head is very
Oh,
different to what we've seen before. So my running theory currently is that they're gonna want to switch up the meta. They don't want it to be very bait, like, okay, it's a person from Survivor, person from Big Brother. I think they're gonna go back to the drawing board on this season. I think what they're gonna do is I could see them recruiting a housewife to be a traitor. Now, whether it's Dorinda to keep her safe or someone else with the assumption that they'll keep Dorinda safe, we'll see. My other two guesses, and one of them is locked in stone, by the way. I think Donna Kelsey's a traitor. I'm willing to look as dumb as possible when she's not premiere night. But until then, I'm just so convinced she is. The other one, this kind of came up in our RHAP preview, and I think it was Mike Bloom who put it in my head, and I can't unhear it, is that with this season, you've got the Super Bowl going to be on Peacock this year. You've got the Winter
Winter
Olympics on Peacock
Olympics.
this year. So Mike Bloom was like, Johnny Weir could be a traitor. And they
Hmm.
do love when there is a couple in the house or like a pairing, they do love making one bad, one good just to see what the dynamics are like. So now in my head, I'm like, it's Dorinda, Donna, and Johnny. Like that's what's gonna happen, which would be so chaotic, by the way.
Yeah.
And that would be very fun to see. But I'm very curious because of all of the housewives here, well, first of all, the only housewife we've had in the turret proper is Phaedra. We've had Phaedra in the turret, and Phaedra made it look easy. Honestly, outside of the Dan Giesling of it all, I think Phaedra could have made a good like charge to the end game. Now,
Mm.
it's big shoes to fill for any housewife that steps into that spot.
So let me just also, this is a Dorinda deep dive. If there is a housewife that is on this season that could fulfill that role, I'm a huge Portia fan. I love
Mm-hmm.
Lisa Rinna. I think Lisa Rinna stayed on Housewives of Beverly Hills a little too long. But there is Candace Dillard Bassard, who was on the Real Housewives of Potomac. Candace is
Mm-hmm.
witty. Candace is smart. Candace is drag me, Monique. Candace has had her fair share of things. Candace can read like a Phaedra Parks. With you even saying that, I almost would hope that Candace could be a traitor. And kind of like people love to hate Candace, but she's smart, she's methodical, and she could read like no other. And so if they were to pick a housewife, and not to say that Dorinda isn't smart, Dorinda isn't, but I also just think with this cast, it's a lot of younger, older, it kind of spans where I think Dorinda is very
Mm-hmm.
comfortable in her lane and what she knows. Where I think that like Candace would be probably the most versatile housewife to put in there. And if you want a Phaedra Parks performance, it would absolutely be a Candace. But say all that to say, whoever they pick, it would be a treat. But out of the four housewives that we have, I would definitely want it to be Dorinda or a Candace. I definitely want Lisa and a Portia to just be out there in the fields. Now, I do have a quick question for you. You watched
Mm-hmm.
Traitors Canada, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was your thoughts? Because mind you, I'm kind of like new to Traitors. Like I'll be watching the Traitors, but sometimes like
Mm-hmm.
the way the episodes air, if I missed the first episode, then it's like I just watched the last of them. Don't judge me. But
Mm-hmm.
that's just how I get in where I fit in. I did see the beginning of how they picked the Traitors in Canada, where it was like everyone, if you didn't get touched, and then
Ah.
when they
Mm.
and everyone woke up and you kind of you didn't have a second to put your game face on. What was your thoughts on that? And how do you think something like that would play out in this season?
Okay, so my first thought is I loved that twist they did this season where they tapped on three people's shoulders and then said, if you got a shoulder tap, you are a traitor. You are not a traitor. And then that panic sets in. And then the people who didn't get tapped, like it made everything get neutralized. The taps didn't matter. The immediate blindfold off, like let me body read people did not matter. And I did love that. If they did something like that here, I might change my tune on Rob being a traitor, because I've said I don't want Rob to be a traitor off rip. I think one of them is because if he even looks a little nervous and someone holds on to that, I think it's done. So stuff like that, I think I do enjoy this twist for that reason, where you're neutralizing all the immediate reads. Because I think one of the things people but people complain about with the Traitors, the very strategic-minded people in our circles, Brice, is that a lot of people are getting voted out for no reason. A lot of these hunches mean nothing. It's air. And the ultimate air is, well, they have no evidence to go off of. So if we take our blindfolds off and I see you grab your water immediately and take a sip, that's suspect. Why is your throat dry already? Why are you nervous? What's going on? And then that's parched. Nothing. You're just parched. You're just parched. And I'm here being like, nah, I caught you. Like off nothing. So I like that it takes some of that away a little bit at the beginning, and it just incentivizes them to, hey, talk to people first, because there's nothing here to look at. Everyone had the same reaction.
Do you think we'll see a twist like this in this season of The Traitors, with it only getting bigger and bigger, and we haven't necessarily seen much of a twist in the beginning of it? Or do you think it will be regular how it's been?
I feel like I'm leaning more regular. It'll be interesting because Canada does its own thing, but then the UK and the US film with the same people at the same castle back to back. So we're going to get Traitors UK a week before Traitors US. We're going to get January 1st as Traitors UK. So if I watch that episode and they do something different, I'll anticipate it to be there for season 4 of the US as well. So we'll see in that regard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, nevertheless, I can't believe actually I can, because I hate that, because sometimes I get up on these podcasts and I'm like, I can't believe it's almost here. But actually, I'm lying, because I felt like last summer, I was like, they need to hurry up. So I feel like I'm excited and I'm ready for it, because I can believe it's almost here, because I've been waiting since last summer, since the rumors were dropping and we kind of got a little bit of the cast. So it's great timing on Peacock. I love the fact that it's like in a time slot where there isn't much going on. Survivor has just ended. It's shout out to Peacock, because I'm excited. I've been waiting.
Yeah, I feel like the wait this season we have felt the wait every passing day. Like it feels like simultaneously 300 days have passed since that day that we found out Rob flew out and was officially on the cast until now. And now we're just less than 30 days away from it happening. So it's going to be surreal. I'm very excited. The premiere is going to be 3 episodes. So that's triple the Rob dose. I'm very excited for that. And I mean, this cast I've been very high on, and I'm getting higher on with every passing preview we do, because I mean, first of all, the experts know what they're talking about and they're bringing in the heat, and I'm very excited to see that play out. But second, it's such a good, healthy mix of people that I don't think it's going to be one group running it to the end. I think it's going to be very chaotic and messy, and that's kind of what I'm here for. So be on the lookout for tomorrow's preview. We'll see who that is. But for today, we were blessed with Brice joining us here to talk about Dorinda. So Brice, always a treat to talk to you. Thank you so much. Where can people find you? What projects do you have going on that you want people to check out?
Well, I'm just like Dorinda, trying to make it nice. And the holiday season, we're about to be into a new year. The Zaddy calendar, the Brice Izyah Zaddy calendar, is available. Treat yourself to 2026, and always check me out on the Purple Pants podcast. We are doing amazing things. And yeah, that's it. The baby boy, Brice Izyah Pooya. It's been so much fun. We have to, get together outside of this. I'm gonna, wait for my phone to ring, and I'm gonna respond, because we got some things we need to talk about. It's so many shows, so many stuff that I feel like I need to be more connected with you.
I do agree, but let me just say, your phone has been ringing because you've been coming on my shows. Well, where's my invite to one of your shows?
The door is always open. Okay, I'm gonna text you.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, and I will always look forward to talking to you, Bryce. It's always a treat. Everybody, of course, you can find me on all socials at Pooyaism, twitch.tv/Pooya. That's where I am when I'm not podcasting. And for this season, I will be watching the episodes along with you all over on Twitch. So make sure you pull up. We only get to see Rob on television once. I only get to critique my co-host live once, you know. So come through, see what I have to say about that all season long. And check me out over on 90 Day Pod. Check me out over on the Pooya and Liana Lunch with Liana every week. And as I said earlier, Traitors UK is also going to be starting January 1st. So we're going to have double dose of Traitors going on in January. Make sure you're subscribed to this feed, and the hype continues on. I'll be back here with you tomorrow for a brand new person to speak on. But until then, y'all take care. Have a good one.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.